guys, I'm Noah Voigt, the host of Noah's Archives, where we and I am trying to tackle the challenges and the fears of the college world. I want to create a space here on this channel where students can truly feel like they can take on what seems to be a daunting task of college. If you're interested in joining this journey, follow and subscribe, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about the start of a lot of people's journeys, and it's how to know if you've chosen the right path. If you're interested, continue watching. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and enjoy. Bye, guys. Noah here again. The host. This podcast is going to be geared towards like we're having a conversation between each other, like we're friends, because honestly, I really care about you and I want everyone to succeed. So let's begin. Why would I choose the topic of the path or the choice or the start of the journey? And the reason's fairly straightforward. First off, like I said, it's the start of many people's journeys. And I believe that if you are about to go into college or you're in college, knowing if you're on the right path or having the right major or choice in that sense, having that right or feeling like at the very least that you have that right is a really big starting point. So I know that's a very important point. And I also think it's very important because it's on the face value. It's a scary thing. People get scared when they think about this choice because, there's a lot of weight to it. There's a lot of weight to choosing what you want to do with the rest of your life. And, we'll talk about a little bit more how you shouldn't feel that way later. But that's another reason why I feel like it's very important to start with this. And then another one of the big reasons is that I've talked to a lot of people. And in my life growing up, I've seen a lot of people stressing out over their major, choosing their future job and their occupation about what they want to do with their life. And I know that it stresses people out. And I know that's a very important thing. Two really big examples in my life are my sister and my brother. Both of them have chosen to change their career paths or their majors. My brother ultimately didn't even need the college experience that he had. And my sister, after changing a couple times, found her job. So that's why I believe it's a very good starting point for a lot of people's journeys and this podcast. So a little bit more clarification. What do I mean by the right path or choosing the right major? And there's two specific things that I think go into choosing the right path. And it's what major fits you the best. So biology, communications, religion, philosophy, whatever it may be, what major fits me the best and what's going to allow me to accomplish the job I want to get. So if I want to, for my circumstance, I want to become a doctor one day. So what fits me the best would be the biology pre-med route. And that changes varying to person. So that's what I mean by how to know if you're on the right path or if you've chosen the right major. So how are we going to get into this? How are we going to tackle this very, very scary and what seems like insurmountable topic? And let's go over like the fears of a lot of people. Like one of the biggest things I've heard, and I've done a lot of research on this topic, is what if I choose wrong? What if I have to spend money to change this and take more classes? And those are two very common and very valid fears. Like you have a right to feel that way because let's be honest, like it's going to cost a little bit more money. And those are very practical things that people should think about. And that's really good that you are thinking that way. But one thing I feel like a lot of people neglect, or they feel like they don't see the big picture in that you change. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But people change all the time. I was talking with one of my friends earlier today, and it is insane how we are about to graduate, and the people we were our freshman year are totally different than who we are right now. Now, do I have the same passion about becoming a physician or a doctor one day? Yeah, but that's not the same for every person. You're going to meet new people, and you're going to learn from other people. So just keep that in mind. One of the things while researching this topic I found is I was like, who are some people that changed their major and they're really, really big people? And one of the people that popped up was Matthew McConaughey. And I was like, what could he have wanted to be? He wanted to be a lawyer. A lawyer. Why? Matthew McConaughey, who's now an amazing actor, wanted to be a lawyer. So hopefully that puts, like, if you see that shift of lawyer to actor for Matthew McConaughey, like, I know that's a funny example, but it's a practical thing. Like, he changed who he is or who he was, and he found his passion. He found where he needed to be. So make sure we think about that when we're going and making our choices. But for right now, you're probably thinking, what can I do right now to make sure I choose the best thing for me at this really big thing? Like, how are we going to best select and serve yourself right now? Like, it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to change. But a lot of people, and it's a great question, how are we going to tackle this right now? What can I do right now to best set myself up? And that's a great question. And when I was doing my research, the College Board and the Princeton Review were two sources that really helped. They posted these 3 questions in common with both of them. And the first question, and I believe it's a great start, what are you gifted with naturally? What that means is, like, if you look at your life, what can you do and what are you good at? For me, I know one really big thing is I was pretty good with people. Like, I could culturally surround myself and adapt to where I was, and I was good with math and science, and I liked working with a lot of different people, specifically kids, and that's why I want to be a pediatrician when I grow up. But those are some of the things that I personally was naturally gifted with. There's a natural inclination for me in those certain areas. So look at yourself. That's a great first question. Look at yourself and say, honestly, what am I good at? And that's a great start. But another great question is number 2, what is something that excites you or interests you outside of class? You can be interested in math and science like I was, and you can be good at that. But what excites you outside of class? Because let's be honest, our work, our job in the future is most likely not going to be a copy paste of our classroom setting. So look at your life and what is something that you can do. I like the way they phrase this on their website. What is something you can do for an extended amount of time and not get bored with? For me, that's a lot of different things. Like, I feel fulfilled when I work with kids the most, and I could work with them, or I could play sports. I'm not going to be a professional athlete. Let's look at myself. I mean, if you knew me in person, I'm not the best athlete, but I love playing sports. Those are 2 of the things that I'd say excite me or interest me outside of the classroom. And that really helps me and directs me on where I want to go and what I want to do. And then the third one, one of the better questions, and I think there's a lot to this, is what kind of job do you want? Another time, to be honest with yourself, because this is you choosing this. Do not let parents or friends or anyone outside of you tell you what you want to be or where you should be. I know that's a lot of people's experiences, and I feel like I did have that for a majority of my life. I felt like I was getting pushed towards a certain path because I was a little smarter and I was good with math and science. They were like, okay, you're going to be a doctor now. But no, take a step back. Look at yourself. And what job do you want? Meaning, do you want to be in that community field? Do you want to be in an atmosphere where people are surrounding you all the time? Or do you want to work by yourself? Maybe you want the office job and work in your cubicle and work on a computer and sit down for a majority of the day. That's okay. But what do you want to do? Because this is like a narrowing focus for your job and your future. So if you want to work with science, there's a lot of different routes that science could go. You could be a biologist working in the forest, or you can be a laboratory scientist working by yourself. Or you could be a nurse or a doctor and work with a team of people. So hopefully that helps clarify what I mean by that question. But now that we've heard that, I feel like it's a good thing to just take a second and think about those 3 questions before we continue, because those are really, really big questions. So I'm going to pause for a couple seconds, give you a couple seconds to think about those things. Yeah. If you are still confused after that and you're like, I'm not really good at anything, I don't really get excited outside of class or in class. I'm not good at anything and I don't want to do anything. I don't know where I want to work. That's okay. Don't spiral. I know that's what I tend to do. I tend to spiral and I tend to freak out and try to think of the worst case scenario. I'm never going to find a job. I'm never going to find a place that accepts me. Stop. It is okay to not know what you want to do right now. But there are some practical things that you can do. If you can't answer those questions, you can do these things right now. And one of the biggest things that I believe we should do is try something. Now, it could be something as basic as playing sports and getting involved in those, or maybe it's joining a club like a gardening club or a theater or some sort of group like that, or even outside of school, go and job shadow. I know this was kind of like a outside thing for me because I was very hands off my future. I wasn't very active in trying to find what I wanted to do. But it is very possible to go job shadow someone right now. I had one experience in my life where I job shadowed a vet. And I was like, oh, I love being a vet. I love this. I want to be a vet one day. No, I didn't. I was 12 and I was really in love with dogs. That's what that was. But outside of that, try something. Do something. Like, it's okay. And if you don't like it, great. You've narrowed the focus a little bit. If you do like it, do more. See if you could do this longer term. But another thing that I feel like helps a lot of people when they do try things and they go in these work environments or they work in these clubs or they are on these teams is they find out where they want to work. So I know for me, when I was playing soccer and baseball and football and basketball growing up, I knew I loved working with a team. Now, some of the people weren't the greatest influences or the people I wanted to be around, but I knew I like being around a lot of different people and I work well in these environments. I thrive when I'm around people the most. So I knew, going back to that third question earlier, I knew that my work environment needed to be surrounded by people. I couldn't be in the cubicle. I couldn't be in a lab space by myself. So I feel like that's another great starting point for a lot of people is to try something if you can answer those questions. And one of the biggest things that, again, I struggle with right now because I'm being told this right now is ask other people. If you have an older sibling that you trust or a family member or parent, ask them. Help. One of the biggest things that I was taught over the past couple years is asking people for help isn't you being weak. It's being vulnerable and acknowledging you need help because we aren't supposed to do life alone. That's a whole reason why we want to do this podcast. I want to do this podcast is I don't want us to be alone. I want everyone to experience life together. I want us to encourage and lift each other up. And that's what asking other people and older people does. Ask them, what do you see in me? Like, I feel like I don't see anything in myself. What do you see? Like, being around me my whole life, do I thrive among certain situations? Do I limit myself in these things? What is the best thing for me? And the last thing, I believe, I've already said it, but I believe people need to hear is even taking into account all of these different things. You change. Like I said earlier, I wanted to be a vet for 2-3 years of my life. I do not want to be a vet right now. I could not work with cats and dogs and pigs and cows my whole life. I couldn't do it. I have changed. Now, I wanted to be a professional athlete when I was younger. I love sports. I grew up, all right? My wants changed. Do I love sports still? Yes, but I know I can see myself, and I changed into someone who is a little bit smarter when it comes to that. I can see the bigger picture. But I think it's very smart to zoom out, take a step back, and breathe. It's going to save you a lot of heartache if you get over the idea and truly hold on to the fact that you can and you will change. So I hope all these things help guide you and narrow your focus on if you're in the right place or if you're doing the right thing. And if it's not, that's okay. Reach out to me. I want to be a service and of use for you. So at the end of this video, you're going to see a couple links to my email, to my Instagram, and to I think it's just this YouTube channel. But reach out to me. I will answer, and I want to answer your questions. So if I can help in any way, please reach out. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I know it was very quick. I would love to keep talking, but there are time constraints. So I hope you can understand that. But I hope you can see that this is a series that I want to do, that I care about, because I truly want you to succeed. I want you to be the best person you can be. And I know that college is scary. I've been in those same shoes. My freshman year and growing up, I was lost. I had the passion and I knew I was good at certain things. But my freshman year of college, I had no friends. I was lost. I was questioning everything about myself. And I didn't know who to go to. I don't want to sound like high and mighty, but I want to be that for somebody. If there are people who are looking for direction, I want to be a person who can provide that. So, if you think you want to join this journey, thank you. Like, subscribe, and follow, guys. But also share. I know when I go back to those moments in my life, there were other people who were in the exact same shoes as me. And I knew that if they knew a little bit more, or they had a little bit more guidance about these certain things, that would help them a lot. So if you know those people, share this with them. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you learned and have been guided and directed a little bit more from listening to this podcast. But again, please share. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Bye, guys.